At exactly 3:17 in the morning, she woke up and couldn't move. Not her arms, not her legs, not even her head. And when she forced her eyes open, something was already inches from her face, watching her. For some people, sleep paralysis is just a sleep disorder. For others, it's something else entirely. Tonight, I'm going to share 3 real stories from people who woke up completely paralyzed and what they saw when they couldn't scream. Stick with me. These stories stay with you. Let's begin. This first one comes from Jamie in North Carolina. It happened in the early 2000s and was the very first time she ever experienced sleep paralysis. She had always been afraid of the dark, so she left her bedroom door open while her husband played video games in the office down the hall. The light from his computer spilled across the hallway floor like a safety line. She fell asleep fast. When she woke up, she was on her back, and she couldn't move. Her eyes worked. She could see the light from the office. She could hear the faint sounds of his game. But the rest of her body was completely locked. She tried to call out. Nothing, not even a whisper. At first, nothing seemed wrong, but then she realized something felt off. The hallway light looked dimmer, quieter, like the house itself had gone still. Then she looked to the side of her bed. Floating at eye level, inches from her face, was her husband's grandmother, who had died just a few weeks earlier. The old woman was glowing, bright like she was standing in direct sunlight, even though the room was pitch black. She had the biggest, warmest smile on her face, and her eyes were the most brilliant shade of blue Jamie had ever seen. It should have been comforting, but it wasn't. Terror exploded through her. She tried to scream. Nothing came out. She squeezed her eyes shut and kept trying to force a sound until her own scream finally ripped her awake. Shaking, she ran to her husband and told him everything. He comforted her, and she eventually went back to bed, this time turned on her side, facing away from where the grandmother had appeared. She closed her eyes. The moment she drifted off, it happened again. The grandmother was back. Same glowing face, same beautiful smile, same brilliant blue eyes, hovering right in front of her. This time, Jamie managed to push through the paralysis long enough to think one clear thought. She mentally screamed at the spirit, "Never do that again." And just like that, the grandmother vanished. That was the last time Jamie ever experienced sleep paralysis. She believes her husband's grandmother simply came to say goodbye. But the terror of being trapped while someone you love stares at you from inches away changed her forever. The second story comes from a woman who woke up one night to complete darkness. Her TV was always on when she slept. She hated the dark. But this time, the screen was black. Even the little light on her cable box was off. The whole room felt wrong. She realized she couldn't move. Her eyes were open, but her body was completely paralyzed. Panic set in fast. Then she heard it, her own voice screaming. Not from her mouth, inside her head. She was screaming bloody murder, the sound echoing louder and louder in her skull, but her actual body stayed completely silent. No one in the house woke up. She felt something dark and heavy in the room with her. It was getting closer, one slow step at a time, until it reached the side of her bed. Then came the chanting, a low, ancient male voice speaking in a language she didn't understand. The words felt wrong, evil. Suddenly, she felt herself rising. Her body lifted off the mattress and began turning slowly in the air, a full 180 degrees, until she was hovering 2 feet above her bed, face down, staring at her own pillow. She was screaming so loud inside her head, she thought she would lose her mind. In pure desperation, she started praying the Hail Mary over and over. The screaming slowly faded. The chanting stopped, and her body gently lowered back onto the bed. The next morning, she remembered nothing until later that afternoon while jogging. The memory hit her like a truck. She stopped in the middle of the trail and just stood there, shaking. She still doesn't know what was in the room with her that night, but she knows it wasn't human. The third story happened when a teenager was struggling with severe depression. She spent most days sleeping in her basement bedroom with a pillow stuffed in the window to keep it pitch black. One afternoon, she woke up and couldn't move. She was lying on her stomach, head turned to the side. She could see her entire room, her own body, and the creature standing over her, as if she had floated out of herself and was watching from above. The creature was a black, shapeless blob with two glowing red eyes. It pinned her down like a wrestler, arms folded over her arms, legs folded over her legs, completely immobilizing her. It stayed like that for what felt like 10 to 15 minutes. Then it laughed. A deep, spine-chilling, playful laugh that echoed through the room. The sound was so real, so alive, that it made her feel completely helpless. The air in the room felt heavy, thick, like it hadn't moved in years. She stared at her bookshelf, trapped in her own body, while this thing laughed at her terror. Years later, her brother told her he had experienced sleep paralysis in the exact same basement room and described the same black creature with red eyes. Whatever it liked that house. Sleep paralysis is one of the strangest things the human mind can experience. Sometimes it brings comfort, a final goodbye from someone you lost. Sometimes it brings pure terror, creatures that laugh while they hold you down. And sometimes it shows you things you were never meant to see while you're still alive. Have you ever experienced sleep paralysis? Did you see something or feel something watching you? Tell me your story. Email me at the.unexplained.encounters@gmail.com or drop it in the comments. The most powerful ones might make it into a future video. If this one left you checking the corners of your room tonight, you're not alone. Thanks for watching Unexplained Encounters. Sleep well, if you can, and I'll see you in the shadows.